Welcome, everybody, to today's episode of The Lindsey Elmore Show. Today, it's all about how do we create greater connection and become the life of the party and understand that we can go in and make real, meaningful connections with people that we've never met before. First up, I speak with Amy Mahjoory about how we can become better communicators while we are introduced to new people. After that, I share with you a few tips and tricks that I learned from acting about how we can become better listeners, better conversationalists, and how we can create deeper connections. Let's get to the show. Welcome to The Lindsey Elmore Show, a podcast that helps you find fulfillment amidst chaos. On this show, I interview thought leaders, doctors, creatives, spiritual gurus, and game changers who inspire you to pursue your dreams, overcome obstacles, and leave your mark. Amy Mahjoory is an expert real estate investor and educator, a best-selling author, an HGTV personality, and keynote speaker. For the past 19 years, Amy has studied the art of strategic networking. Before pursuing her passion in entrepreneurship, she was a highly recognized global leader in procurement, logistics, and operations for Dell Computers. After 14 years in corporate America, Amy realized that a traditional education combined with the security of a 9-to-5 was not going to produce the results that she really wanted to achieve. Amy's success can be attributed in large part to her team building talents and her cutting edge business system. She focuses on surrounding herself with some of the most dynamic and dedicated entrepreneurs, mentors, peers, employees, and investors. Her trainings include strategic networking, team building, problem solving, outsourcing, and raising capital. She has a genuine interest in how to help others succeed. Most of her success originates from her belief that you can work smarter, not harder, and her number one goal is to provide the highest level of service to her clients. Today, I talk with Amy about how we can be more strategic and intentional when we meet people and how we can better create connections. Amy Mahjoory, welcome to the Lindsey Elmore Show.
Thank you, my lady. Very excited to be here with you today.
I'm so excited to talk about your journey, your growth, and how you aim to bring people together in meaningful ways. So tell us your story. You've been a student of strategic networking for more than 19 years, but before that, you were working jobs. You had this huge career in corporate America, but you were discontent. So tell us all of that.
Yeah, sure. It's like, where do I start? So, my background's very traditional. Just like most people out there, I was, raised to go to school and get good grades and go to college and then get a job in corporate America that you're going to work at for the rest of your life. The stable, secure job where you live paycheck to paycheck until you retire. And so that's what I did. My background's Middle Eastern, even though my upbringing was, very not stereotypical Middle Eastern, very westernized. In our family and our culture, number one is education. So for me, in our family, the lowest level of education is an MBA. So went on, got the MBA, and I got this amazing job. I still don't know how I landed this job at Dell Computers in Austin, Texas, where I worked and worked and worked after undergrad for 14 years. And I'm very appreciative of everything that Dell did for me. I traveled the world on Dell's dime. I negotiated multi-million-dollar, contracts and relationships, and it was great. But here I am, at age 35, still trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life. And I'm working this corporate job that really I did not care about anymore. I had tapped out. I had zero motivation to climb the corporate ladder. And it was just so unfulfilling. And at that time, I wasn't married. I didn't have any kids. And, I was like, what am I doing with my life? And I just knew that I wanted more.
So you knew you wanted more, but how did you get like the courage to leave what I'm assuming was quite a lucrative job that gave you these travel opportunities? You probably got to see the world in ways that you weren't expecting, but what was so fundamentally off inside of you?
So this is so crazy. So here's what I thought. So back then I thought I wanted to leave my corporate job because I was only making $87,000 with an MBA, and I just wanted to have more money. Like, I thought my why was I want more money. I didn't build any substance behind what that would allow me to do. And so I was an HGTV junkie, and I was like, you know what? As I try to figure out what I wanted to do to go make more money, I'm going to just start this little side hustle. I'm going to just try to flip, a couple of houses just like they do on TV, as in my spare time as a hobby. Never, ever, ever did I think it would become a career, let alone did I think I'd end up on HGTV and then coaching thousands of investors all over the country on how to do the same thing. So I didn't know what I was doing, but I do believe in investing in coaching, and I do believe in mentorship. And look, I'm the type of person, I want the fast path to success. I don't want to go read a book or do a bunch of Google searches to try to figure it out. So I invested in coaching and mentors. And again, my goal was just to flip a couple of homes on the side as I figured out what I wanted to do at Dell. And because I invested in coaching and all I did was do what they told me to do, because I didn't know what I was doing, on accident, while working a full-time job at Dell, I was able to buy, renovate, and sell 10 properties in the heart of downtown Chicago and make almost 2x of my salary in an industry I knew nothing about.
Yeah.
And so that's when I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? And in the middle of all of that, I realized, oh, my why is not my real why. And I actually went through this personal traumatic experience, which really helped me take action in order to get to where I am today.
Well, you said that you thought your why was to make money, but that's never a good enough why. That's never going to actually motivate you to do great things within the world. I mean, you can be motivated by money. I love money, and I love having financial security that I don't have to worry about. I don't have to worry about much, and that's a great thing. But how did you break up with that idea that success meant compensation, and how did you redefine success?
That is a phenomenal question, and I love the way you phrased that. So, every time I share this story, I still get emotional. Let's try to get through this without any tears. So here's what happened. So I had these coaches and mentors, and I'm like doing what they're telling me to do, but I am the world's biggest procrastinator. So this is a huge weakness of mine still today. And so even though I had this why, I wasn't taking action to my likings, basically. And so what happened was, suddenly in October 2013, I come from a very unique family dynamic where my mom and her two sisters married my dad and his two brothers. So 3 brothers from one family, it was not incestual, married 3 brothers from one family, married 3 sisters from another family. Yes, I'm Middle Eastern. No, it wasn't arranged.
How did there's so many layers to unpack. Just
I know.
Yeah, you think of it like you see on the news the 2 twins marry 2 other twins, but this is next level. 3 brothers and married 3 sisters, and there was not a yenta to be found. So okay, so keep going. Fast forward. You have this unique family dynamic.
Yeah. And so my 3 moms and my 3 dads, because we're all so close, all immigrated from the Middle East to East Lansing, Michigan, where Michigan State is, and they all bought homes within 2 miles of one another. And then they had all of us children. So even though I technically have one brother, I was raised in my aunts and uncles' homes. My 5 double cousins look like my identical twins. We all went to the same schools together, the same last name. We sound the same. So I always say I'm one of 7 children, and I have 3 moms and 3 dads. That's why I say networking for me is a towering strength. I was born networked. I've been studying networking for 37 years since I was 5 years old. Now, what happened was, I share this with you because in October 2013, one of my uncles, right, one of my dads, was undergoing what ended up being his deep breath last surgery, because me and the rest of my family, so my, at that time we had grandkids, 13, 14 family members were at the hospital waiting for him to come out, and he was diagnosed with cancer. And my uncle was very stubborn and he refused to get a second opinion. And we believe, or some of us believe, that this could have been prevented. And we believe that he died a premature death, and the surgery did not save him. And so when I was at the hospital waiting for him to get a surgery, I'm not a religious person, but I am spiritual. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, why am I sitting here working this corporate job that I hate? I've got these amazing coaches and mentors, and I'm not taking action. So that's when I really dug deep, and I discovered my true why. And my true why was time. And time to me was everything. And it's the one thing we're never going to get back. So watching the power of cancer do what it did to my uncle and take him away from us so prematurely, made me realize that could be me. I could have cancer right now. So what am I doing to be the best me and live and create my lifestyle by design, so I don't have to wake up every day and go to a job that I hate? I want to do the things that I want to do with the people I love, and I want to enjoy traveling because that's something that I love, and I don't want to have to worry about money. So yes, money was one of the things I wanted to do, or to build, but to allow me to do the things I wanted to do, at my own will, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So how has your work ethic and your perspective changed, knowing that you have the pursuit of time at the center of what motivates you?
Yeah, for me, it all came down to mindset. And once I was able to build substance, and more importantly, an emotional substance behind my why, still till this day, that's been my driving, motivating force, is any goal that I set for myself, and I share this with my students or my friends and my family members, I achieve it because I've got that constant reminder of my emotional motivating why. And for me, it was mindset. So once I decided to make that mindset shift, and I just took the slightest step forward, things just started to happen. So I was like, you know what, Amy, let go of the fear. There was so much fear of the unknown that we all have. And I don't want to leave my safe, secure, stable, job, my paycheck that I'm getting, every 2 weeks, for something that may not, come to fruition. But once I just took the slightest step forward and great things started to happen, I was like, oh my God, if you just do it, but you work with like-minded individuals, you find people on the same mission as you surround yourself with greatness, then it's going to have a snowball effect. And that's exactly what happened. And then that snowball effect gave me even more and more motivation to go on to do all these other things that I never even thought that I would do.
Yeah. So tell us about, so a lot of our listeners are either entrepreneurs or they are in network marketing. And I feel like I hear so often, I can't build a business because I don't know anybody. And I'm like, well, Sugar Plum, you need to meet new people. And so tell us about what drove you to write your book, Networking with a Purpose. And how do you teach people to create networks of people that are authentic and real, and people who are getting as much value as you are giving?
Sure. Thank you. You know what, you guys, it starts with you. So first you have to know your role. And what I mean by know your role is, what are you doing? Who are you and what are you doing? Why are you here? Are you just going to this work happy hour or networking event because you have to? And if that's the case, you're not going to achieve the results you may want to achieve by networking. Networking isn't just going someplace to just chit chat with people, grab a drink, and hand out 5,000 business cards. Take your business cards and throw them in the trash. So it starts with, who are you and why are you here? And if you're not happy with where you are, change it. That's the first thing, because you want to be around like-minded people with common goals and common values. So whether you want to keep your corporate job, that's great, but you're not happy in the department or the company, then switch. And that's going to make it so much easier to get out there and enjoy the networking. You're going to want to be genuine in the relationships you're developing. So when it comes to like traditional networking, it's very one-sided. It's all about how many business cards can I hand out, or am I able to find somebody who will help me get to the next level, or somebody who will give me an introduction to somebody strategic and powerful, or I want to go to a networking event to try to build my list with the hopes of selling a product or service. No, take all that and throw it out the window. When it comes to modern day networking, it's more about be a normal person, get out there and build genuine relationships. Think about how you can serve others. That's what's most critical. Be a super connector. Be a problem solver. If I went to an event and I met you, Lindsey, the first thing I would say is, hey, Lindsey, what are you working on? How can I help you? Because naturally, and it may not happen that night, but over time you'll say, you know what, Amy, thank you so much for always willing to help me. How can I help you? So the law of reciprocity is eventually going to find its way back to you. So just go out there, know your role, have a 20-second power pitch that puts you in the right environment, and just think about creating win-win situations and serving others. And then over time, it's going to help you get to where you want to go.
Yeah, I agree. And so you said be a super connector. This is not something that comes naturally to me. I went through times in my life where I was so consumed with anger that I could barely have a conversation with anybody. So I am really good on stage, or if I know what I'm supposed to say, or if, I'm hosting the show, we are having a conversation for an outcome of creating a podcast. But I feel awkward when I am in big crowds of people. I am not the person that can go and work the room kind of vibes. Do you have to be a natural extrovert that just loves getting to know people to do networking with purpose, or is it a skill set that can be trained?
No, you can definitely be trained. And it's so funny because I laugh in an endearing way because, as good as I think I'm at networking, I still go through those emotions and feelings. It can be very overwhelming or, scary. So that's why if you're more of an introvert and you're just not comfortable in any type of networking setting, whether it's small or large, it's okay, you guys. Maybe you just write down 5 general questions that you just memorize. And then when you go to these types of events, you just pull from those questions that have nothing to do with work. It's like, hey, what brings you here today? Or who are you here with? Or what are you working on? Or, oh my God, that's so awesome. Tell me more. Just let them talk. Tell me more about what you do. That's amazing. How can I help you? So if you just come up with a series of 4 or 5 questions that you just memorize, it's going to help. It's going to help soften, the emotions that you're having, and help you start to develop those relationships. Or you guys, I know this can be very, very hard for some of us in today's society. Just compliment some, oh my God, I love your shirt, and in a non-creepy way, if you just compliment someone, then that's going to open up the door to being like, oh my God, thank you. Like, why are you here? What's going on? And just, you got any trips planned? Don't focus on the event or just anything other than building a friend really at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just finished reading Clean 7 by Dr. Alejandro Younger, and in there he shares an acting exercise that has helped me so much, as even just as a podcast host being in a virtual experience. Because listen, with everybody doing a zillion and a half Zoom calls, it's very easy to not pay any attention. And this acting exercise is so simple. And so I look at you and I say, beige shirt, beige shirt, beige shirt. And so part of my mental effort is focused that you're wearing a beige shirt. And I continue to say that to myself as I'm listening to you until I recognize, okay, also hoop earrings, hoop earrings, hoop earrings. So instead of my mental effort being, in this digital environment, instead of my mental effort being like, okay, I'm going to switch over to Facebook, or I'm going to check an email real quick, or in a room, if I am staring at you and using some of my mental effort for hoop earrings, hoop earrings, hoop earrings, I don't have the mental capacity to also be thinking about, well, I'm headed to the grocery store and I've got to get this, this, and this. Are there any other exercises that you think can make people more effective communicators? I love the idea of having 5 questions that have nothing to do with work, that are just getting to know you and figuring out, do you even want to work with this person? What are some other tips and tricks that you've honed over time that help you to create greater and more meaningful connections?
Well, first of all, I love this exercise that you just shared, and I am going to steal it from you and start using it myself. That is amazing. Um, because you're right, especially now with technology and just having to meet and chat with people virtually. And it actually now is an even greater time to be able to put your networking skills to use, because we have to do it, right? So how can you develop those relationships online? Whether it's online or at an event, do not focus on working the room. So if you and I are having a conversation, don't start looking around for like the next person that you're going to go target. Remain focused. And I would say give it 10 minutes. So everyone you talk to, give it at least 10 minutes. And look, at the same time, like if you're not jiving with that person, it's okay to move on. Also, when you find someone that you do really connect with, don't corner that person and just stick to that one person the entire night, because you really want to make meaningful connections and be present with who it is that you're talking to. So even for those of you, again, if you're more of an introvert and you need to maybe script out 3 sentences of a 20-second power pitch or elevator pitch. So when people say, oh, like, hey, Lindsey, like, what do you do? I still tend to ramble. So I have a 20-second elevator pitch. I have a 60-second elevator pitch. So for you, if you want to just practice, these 3 sentences, so when somebody says, what do, you can just rattle it off. That's going to give you more confidence, to just continue the conversation with that person.
I agree. And I think that people get shy, and it seems a little bit like, really, this is what I'm going to do. But there is so much validity to practicing in a mirror. There's validity in going to your partner and saying, hey, I'm going to this event tomorrow night. Can I bounce this off of you? Does this sound normal and like conversational? And does it really sum up what I do and who I am? And so I think I think it is something that is a skill that can be trained, and it can totally make you less awkward. And I have to say, I'm terrible. So part of the way my social anxiety kind of comes out is I do exactly what you said not to do. Whenever I'm speaking to somebody, I start kind of looking around and I'm like, okay, what's going to happen next? And one of my friends summed this up and said, one of the major problems that we have as communicators is we listen to someone, but what we're actually thinking about is, what am I going to say next? And that is super stressful about like, what am I going to say next? Versus if you're listening to actually receive what the other person is there to offer you, it allows the responses to come up naturally. It allows the conversation to flow with greater ease. And so what have been some of the skill sets that you have honed, not only about the outward communication, but how did you become a better listener?
You know what? It's actually I couldn't agree with you more on what you just said, because my mind will wander sometimes. And yeah, there are going to be times where still I'll go to an event and I know that there's an end result that I'm trying to achieve, but I remind myself, if I just focus on this person and really get to know who this person is, and like you said, just listen, that's going to naturally create a comfortable conversation that's going to get that person to like you and vice versa. So the first thing you want to do, regardless of who you are, where you are, is like who you're talking to. You want to like them and they want to like you. As you guys get to like each other, then you want to get to, that's what's going to build trust over time, right? So there was a concept that one of my mentors shared with me that I share with a lot of my students, which is know, like, and trust. So how do you get someone to know you? It's your 20-second power pitch. This is who I am and this is what I do. How about you? Once they know you, well, why do I care to talk to you? Like, do I like you? If you don't like the person you're talking to, who cares if they can help you? Move on. That's not somebody that you want to build a relationship with. A lot of what I do requires private capital. I don't care how much money you have. If I don't like you, I'm not going to raise capital from you. I want to surround myself with people that I enjoy spending time with. So once they know you, once they like you, and vice versa, that's what builds trust. So if you just are present and people take the advice that you just shared, Lindsey, then that's going to result in a natural conversation anyways, which will eventually lead to work. And another thing that you can do is record yourself on your phone. So if you voice inflection and tonality is huge, especially via Zoom. You want to keep the person you're talking to engaged. So if you sound like you're taking a nap, well, stop it and start recording yourself and playing it back so you can hear how you sound to the other person. I love your mirror idea. If you're more of an introvert and you don't smile, put a mirror on your desk, because that smile will shine through when you're talking to the person on the other line. Or you can do what I do. I will stand up, depending on who I'm talking to, over the phone and start pacing around my house. I do that because it increases my energy and it makes me sound like I'm more excited and passionate about being there. So these are all things you can integrate into your day-to-day lifestyle, whether it's personal or professional environments that you're looking to implement these in.
How can this also be applied to team building? So, where it's not just meeting people, creating connections, but creating a group of individuals that are driven towards the same outcomes. And that could be in a corporate environment. It could also be in a family environment, or it could be a network of entrepreneurs who all work together. How do you apply these concepts to building a team that goes far beyond the initial meeting?
Yeah. You know what, man, that I could talk about that forever. So the first thing that just comes to mind and reel me in if I start to deviate is when I started networking I practice what I preach. So again, if I don't like you, I don't have time for you. I'm moving on. And I'm sure it goes both ways. So as I was out there, like building this real estate business that I knew nothing about, the first thing I needed to do was build my power team because I didn't know what I was doing. I had to go build my team of experts. So I really took the know, like, and trust system into place. I actually put know, like, trust on a yellow sticky note and I taped it to my computer so that every day I would remember that. And so as I would encounter people, if we didn't connect, I just moved on. And so here's what happened. By continuing to surround myself with people with similar values, I would start there. Does this person have similar values and goals? Do we have common interests, whether it's in corporate America or your own business or whatever? Do we have common goals and values, shared interests? I'm not saying the same personality, but just, do we connect? Then the conversation will, I guess, excel. So what happened was I really kept the know, like, and trust mindset in place. And by the time I built my power team, I didn't even realize this had happened. I looked at my org chart and everybody in my org chart was an entrepreneur. So my designer owned her own company, my architect owned his own company, and my lawyer, all of that. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I wasn't trying to build a team of entrepreneurs. It just happened because I was so focused on working with people who are like-minded and on the same mission as me that I naturally created a team of entrepreneurs. So I would start with just, again, knowing who you are and surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals and just liking who you work with. It doesn't matter how good they are for the job. If you don't like them for whatever reason, it's not going to be a good culture fit for you and your team.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think too many people are nervous to walk away, and they just say like, oh, well, I have to work with this person. There is this like feeling that they must do these things, but that's not true. That is absolutely not true. So go ahead.
No, I shouldn't even say it's rare. There are a lot of times, even when I think back to my corporate days where, I couldn't control my team because I wasn't a manager, right? So I was an individual contributor. I was a part of a team of 10. And yeah, there were people on my team that I would roll my eyes at, or they were so annoying. But then here's what I did. This is where mindset becomes so powerful. I was like, you know what, Amy, you don't even know this person. Again, know, like, and trust. Take the time to get to know this person. So I would actually start to build one-on-one relationships with the people that I didn't feel, warm and fuzzy about. Hey, Larry, you want to go to lunch? You want to go grab a coffee? And I would ask them personal questions like, whatever, do you have a family? I mean, why'd you get a divorce? I put it all out there. But I can't tell you how many times I had um, incorrectly judged somebody, or I had these massive misperceptions about them. And once I actually, which I still do today, I think it's normal as humans. And once I took the time to just like, Amy, chill out and get to know this person, I'm like, oh my God, this person's really cool. Like, and once they get to know you, whatever it is that, your perceptions were, was maybe that was their wall or their shield. So that's something you could do if you're a part of a team and you can't control the team that you're building, is spend some more one-on-one time with the people around you and get to really know who they are.
Well, Amy, before we end today, are you ready for some lightning round questions?
Oh my gosh, my heart just dropped. Yes.
I'm going to make it easy on you, I promise. Okay. What is your number one strength?
Ooh, my number one strength, it's networking. It's talking to people and just having fun. I'm very personable.
What is the thing that you struggle with the most?
Um, Creativity. I am not innovative. I am not creative. If you ask my mom that, she'll say, "Don't say that." Yes, you are. No, I am not. Personally, professionally, I am not creative, and marketing is a huge weakness of mine.
What do you hope that people will say about you at your funeral?
Oh my God, that makes me want to cry. Oh my gosh, just thinking about that. I'm very emotional. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Well, there you go. I hope they say that, Amy just really cared about others, and she was just a great person who wanted to just give back and help.
Hmm. If you could give advice to your younger self, what would you tell yourself?
Oh man, don't be or get complacent, and don't just do something because you think you have to do it. Don't. Oh my God. The number one thing I think I would say is, do not allow the element of fear to get in the way. You can do whatever you want to do. And if you don't know how to do it, go find somebody that's done it before, that's had proven success, and start to develop a relationship with them. If there is something you want to do personally or professionally, you can do it. Just get over the fear. And once you do, it's going to be like this huge weight has been lifted from your shoulders, and you're going to be so happy, and you're never going to look back.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Don't get complacent, friends. Last but not least, God to you is.
God to me is a spirit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, everyone, please go check out Amy and her best selling book. Tell us where they can find you on the internets.
Uh, you can just go to my website, amymahjoory.com. You can learn more about just, I'm a regular old person, my background, my coaching. You can get a copy of my book from there. So whatever you want, amymahjoory.com. And if you have any follow-up questions for me, I manage all my social media. Reach out to me on LinkedIn or Instagram, and I'd be more than happy to connect with you.
Absolutely. Everybody go check out Amy's book, Networking with a Purpose, and check her out at www.amymahjoory. I got it. I said it. I did it. Amy, thank you so much for being on the Lindsey Elmore Show.
Thank you.
Turning your creative passions into a viable business may seem like a daunting task. You may not know how to identify your audience, create a product that you can sell to them authentically, or how to run your business like a business. That's okay. Everybody has to start somewhere. That's why I created an easy to understand 5-step guide to becoming an entrepreneur. You can access the free guide by heading to www.lindseyelmore.com/5steps. That's www.lindseyelmore.com/5steps. One of the ways that we can become more present and create deeper connections is by living in our current moment. And I have been researching and studying more about how to become more present in the current moment. And I came across a great exercise from the Ruskin School of Acting, and it's called the repetition exercise. And it has 3 different parts to it. The first is the easiest, and that is looking for external details about people. So if you are watching me on YouTube or on my website right now, you will know that I am wearing a black dress. So if you want to listen and hear more of what I am saying, instead of focusing your mental energy on Instagram, or maybe you're cooking food right now or driving or whatever it is, simply look at me and devote a small portion of your mental energy towards saying black dress, black dress, black dress, black dress. And simply allocating part of your mental energy towards describing what I am wearing is a way that you can focus on what I am actually saying. Now, it sounds so counterintuitive that if you're looking at me speaking and you say brown hair, brown hair, brown hair, black dress, black dress, black dress, brown eyes, brown eyes, brown eyes, you would think that it would be distracting and that you wouldn't be able to listen to me in the same way as you would if you were simply listening. But by spending some of that mental energy in the repetition of brown hair, brown hair, brown hair, your brain doesn't have the capacity to think about what you need to pick up at the grocery store, or to worry about your kids' behavior at school, or to wonder where your cat has gone to, because your brain is occupied doing a different task. So that's level 1, focusing on the external details of the person that you are in conversation with. And trust me, I've tried this and it works so well. And the other thing that is profound about doing this is when you're looking at someone and you are focused on green shirt, green shirt, green shirt, black dress, brown hair, you are so tuned in to that person that you become this amazing listener. And that is another thing that's so important about creating deeper connections is other people need to speak and feel heard. They need to feel heard. I heard an interview the other day with Kerry Washington, and she said that, among the Black community, one of the things that's a colloquialism is to just say, you hear what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And the interviewer had recently done an interview with Lizzo, and Lizzo said, you hear what I'm saying? And the interviewer responded with, I do hear what you're saying. And Kerry Washington said she thought that was so profound because we so often say, you hear what I'm saying? What do you think? But we never get that validation back that we are in a situation where the person actually is inquiring, do you hear me? Do you see me? Am I valuable? Do I matter? And so by focusing on black dress, black dress, black dress, your mental reserve to do anything other than listen to them is diminished, and you don't get lost in that headspace of, what am I going to say next? 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 Which is very challenging for me. I've noticed that some of my most insecure moments. So I know that this may be surprising to some of you, but I am a very strong introvert. Like, I need to be by myself. And a lot of people find that surprising because I make a living as a talking head. But I'm really confident when I know what I am supposed to say. If I don't know what I am supposed to say, I get very nervous and I get very unsure of myself and like, oh no, what do I say next in this conversation? Let it go. Let it go and just say black dress, black dress, black dress. Okay, level 2 to this exercise is, once you've noticed all those external things, look at their physical behavior. And so think about saying over and over, like staring at camera, which is what I am doing right now, or fidgeting, swaying, laughing, looking away, looking to the right, looking to the left. I love how when I said looking to the right, I actually looked to the left. I wonder what that says about my brain. Some body language expert come on my podcast and tell me all about it. But when we focus on that physical behavior, we can add that to our observations. And so now the kind of repetition that's going on in your mind is black dress, moving hand, black dress, moving hand, black dress, moving hand. Why does this work for actors? Because acting is the art of responding to your other person. And there's one rule in improv: you never say no, because there's nowhere to go. It's always yes and, yes and we need that to happen over and over again in our lives. And that's one of the ways that we can create deeper connections with people. It allows us to be empathetic and non-judgmental. When someone says, you know, it's a beautiful day, isn't it? And you say no, well, okay, conversation's over. But if someone says it's a beautiful day, isn't it? And you say yes, and I'm so grateful to see you on this beautiful day. What a different conversation that is, and what a deeper conversation, and what a more connected conversation that it is. The third step of this is a little bit more complicated, because we are looking for emotional behaviors, and we're learning how to read those behaviors. So let's say that your partner in this exercise looks away. Well, you may say, well, that means they're shy, or that they're scared, or that they are just not present. And so it's difficult to hear the way that other people perceive us. And that's why this part of the exercise gets tough. But you may recognize in someone else that they are distracted or uncomfortable, or maybe they're happy or sad or embarrassed or angry or frustrated. All you're saying to your partner is the way that you perceive them. And the hard part of the exercise is there's no right or wrong answers. It's just a perception. That's it. It's just perception. And so if someone comes to me and says, you're shy, I may agree or disagree with them, but the part of the exercise that's so important is your job is not to be right or wrong. It's simply to observe and name it in the present moment without thinking too much. And so here's the thing. You're not trying to be clever. You're not trying to outsmart or outwit the other person. All you are trying to do is be sure that you are really engaged and wanting to learn more about what is going on in that person's life. And just be sure that you are in that headspace of, my goal here is to act before I start thinking about it, or to repeat something without thinking about it. And the purpose of repetition exercises is very simple. Stop thinking and put your focus completely on the other person's behavior. And this is a way that we can quiet our busy minds, quiet our thoughts, and become dedicated to the ever-present nature of life. The Lindsey Elmore Show is written and produced by me, Lindsey Elmore. Show segments are produced by Sue Procco and Kelsey Lorman. Production design, sound design, and editing is by Jive Media. If you have a question about this or any other episode of the podcast, send us an email to hello@lindseyelmoreshow.com. And hey, since you're still here, take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. And while you're at it, go over and follow us on Instagram @Lindsey Elmore Show. This helps us bring the pod to more people.